Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Hello. Welcome back to a brand new year of the Bristol Flyers Podcast. We're back, Sam.
That was a fun. Hello.
I thought I'd just make a jump scare there, just to make sure you're still listening to the podcast. We took a week hiatus.
Joel, it's 2023. How many times have you written a date as 2022?
Yeah, I've done that quite a few times, to be fair.
Yeah, nice.
It's been, still getting used to it. How was your holiday season, Sam?
Lovely, thank you. Went back to the old in-laws for a couple of days. Did a few Christmas bits and bobs, and then obviously, mate, went out and had a lovely little ski trip.
Oh, yeah, of course you did. Yeah. Very good.
That's why we're wearing the whitest snow shirts for the old snow. Is that what it is?
Well, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Go on.
Because the last episode of the new year, of the old year, last year, I text you. We normally say which colour shirt. We always pre-plan, don't we? We text each other like, right, we're going to wear blue shirts this week or navy this week. We always try and wear the same colour polos. So today we're wearing white. I text you for that last podcast of the old year, and we agreed on navy blue, and you rock up in royal blue.
Yeah, I read it. I obviously read it, and I just thought you said royal blue, so I just brought the royal blue, I'm afraid, mate.
Yeah, well, I can confirm it. I did look back at the text messages, and it did say navy, so...
Are we done with that now? Is that you done?
Yeah, I think... No, if anything, mate, I do think this is forfeit worthy, you know. So
no!
I could, I don't know.
I will
we
see.
do need to get you doing a forfeit at some point.
How was your Christmas holidays, mate? What'd you get up to?
Well, I'll tell you what I did get up to. I had 3 games to cover for Bristol Flyers, so it was a good holiday season. Went 2-1, but we will get to those games a bit later on in the episode this week.
Yeah.
We hope you all had a fantastic holiday season. To everyone listening at home, we took a break over the Crimbo Limbo, as we like to call it. You know, a week where you don't really know what day of the week it is. It's the Crimbo Limbo, isn't it? Obviously, we had the busy period as well. We had the 3 games, so we'll get onto that a bit later on.
You keep talking about a busy period, mate. I did nothing over those. I did not one of those games. I just watched them. That's all it was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people have got to work, Sam. Right? Some people have got to keep this ship running.
You said something else.
Ship with a P.
Good.
With a P. Before you add a censorship mark to this podcast. Before we want to get to introduce our guests for this week, I've got to give everyone a massive shout out at home for listening, because our numbers have shot up massively since we made this podcast weekly. So thank you to you at home for tuning in, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast feed. Every Wednesday now for the rest of the season, we'll be bringing you a weekly episode. No more breaks, Sam.
Well, what's good about it is it means that they weren't just joining for a couple of exciting new ones. They actually are enjoying the podcast, Joel. So we do appreciate you. Keep listening. And have we had any Apple Podcast reviews yet?
No, we haven't. And if the first person that gives us a rating or a review, an actual review that we can read, we'll read it out here on the podcast. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and you win a prize.
Pride. You win pride.
Yeah.
You win pride. The first person will read out their review. So go on there, leave us a review, and maybe we'll read it out on the podcast in our next episode.
My bet. I've got £1 on it being Matt Hardy.
Go on, Matt. You know what to do. Up Matt Hardy, big friend of the show. Time to introduce this week's guest, and obviously this week, Sam, it's our men's second team special. So every week we like to dive into different elements of the club. This week we're diving into the men's second team. We are very pleased to be joined by none other than Pasquale Landolfi and Nassim Ladjimi. Fellas, how's it going?
What's up? Good to be here.
Yeah, excited.
It's great to have you here on the podcast. I mean, you guys have had a massively busy schedule, of course, having to balance your second team commitments, your BBL commitments, even time to find a time for a cheeky Nando's, which you guys had today, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
Got to squeeze in a cheeky Nando's.
Yeah.
What did you
Gotta
get?
be done.
Go on, tell us.
Right, so I got 15 wings. And then
50?
15.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
15 wings, and then I had chips and garlic bread, and then I had hot spice.
When you say 15 wings, that's like 7.5 birds right there. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
Do you feel alright about that?
Yeah. It was really good.
Nassim, what about you?
I also got 15 wings, peri tamer, garlic bread, and TB. You came clutch and brought the ranch sauce.
Yeah, the ranch sauce
is
What, he brought it separate?
Yeah.
separate.
Tried it for the first time as well. It was really good.
Bring your own sauce to Nando's, is it now?
Ranch
Blimey.
sauce with wings.
Yeah, it was good.
You're going to be
try it.
banned if you keep doing that.
Bandos.
I got
Terrible.
Fellas, thanks a lot for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on the pod this week. We've got 4 of us here in the studio, so it does get rather hot in here eventually. Sam's not looking too bad so far, the sweat patches, but it will get very hot in here indeed. Fellas, we talk about you guys having to balance your commitments with the second team and the first team. You guys must be playing basketball pretty much every single day. I mean, your schedules must be stacked.
Yeah, I mean, we play every day, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays we actually train twice in the evening. So we finish PBL training at 7:30, and then we train again afterwards for Division Two.
So back-to-back training.
Back.
Both at SGS, or do you go elsewhere?
Thursdays we go Abbeywood, which is just across the road. But yeah.
That is, so you're a little bit late to that.
No, we have a lot of time. So we start at like 8:30 on Tuesday and 8 o'clock on Thursday, and we finish at 7:30. So we have
the
like
perfect crossover.
Yeah, or 7 o'clock.
That's be mental.
Training every day once is lucky. If that. Normally it's 2 to 3 times. Like tomorrow, for me, it's going to be 3 sessions tomorrow. Tuesdays or Thursdays is normally 3 sessions.
3 sessions. Yeah.
You must just always be hungry and tired at all points.
It's just who I am now. Like who we are now. Just being tired and being sore and all of that. It's just part of.
Just part of your personality.
I just don't know. I don't know another way at this point.
You get used to it though. Like at the start, it was really like my hips were just really, really tight. So I just anytime just walking around or anything, it would just hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you get do you have any time off through Christmas or anything like that? Like, does Div 2 stop through Christmas, or did you?
Yeah.
So it was almost a bit like a respite, even though you're still doing BBL bits.
Yeah, I took a week out to spend some time with my family and stuff. So.
Yeah,
you got lucky. I didn't get a break. I was still with the first team traveling.
They seem like straight through, absolute warrior out there. Straight through training and playing.
How's it? You must always be like, so you're saying you're always sore. Is it hard to always know when you're like nursing something that needs a little bit more attention versus just like legs hurt, doesn't matter, gonna get up and train anyway? Like, is that hard to know or not?
You kind of just go until you can't, and then until something's really like bothering you, really nagging you, that's when you're booking to see the physio, or figure a solution, whether it's rest or whatever you need. But normally, you kind of just any kind of little pains, just get on with it. That's kind of all we kind of know at this point. Yeah.
Well, the club's put a lot more attention this year now into like their medical staff. Like, so obviously before it's Craig who heads up the medical team. Now you've got Karis who travels with you guys to away games for like physio support. You got Dr. Jonathan now as well, who's at most of the home games. Yeah. Who used to work with like City and Bears as well, so comes with a lot of experience. So the medical team this year is a lot bigger, isn't it? Like you can pretty much see someone whenever you need to now, right?
Yeah. Well, I feel like also with the coaches as well, like they understand. So like, whenever we want, like we'll tell coach, be like, oh, we're quite tired today. So,
fellas, obviously, this is your second year, isn't it, Pasquale, with the BBL program? And it seems your second spell with the BBL program because, of course, you were with the club.
In the COVID year.
That was it, during the pandemic year when we were playing behind closed doors.
Complete different feel.
Yeah.
Completely. Like, without the fans, like I never got that experience of playing in front of the fans in that COVID year. But to come back and now to get the full experience, it's completely different, way more enjoyable. Way more.
How are you finding that experience of just sort of being in and amongst the? Because I know you guys aren't playing like too many minutes, but you always have to be ready, don't you, for any situation? And we've seen that you guys have had like some minutes here and there sort of throughout the season. But how you found it sort of day to day being in and amongst the the first team players and training with them? Have you seen like your game develop under that time?
Yeah, I mean, just being around them, like, they're such experienced players. Like, it's really good to like be in the presence of them. So you just learn so much. Even in training, like you don't think you learn a lot, but you actually do. And then when it comes across to the game, you're ready to be in that position, if you get what I mean. So like even like the athleticism and like the pace of the game is, when you play in training, it's exactly the same in the game. So
yeah, and you try and like learn like what you can from players. Like I'll try and shoot with like VJ quite a lot, just because that's probably one of the more experienced guys on the team, and he's been to places that like you kind of dreamed to get when you was a kid. So like to go and learn from him, and even from anyone really, anyone in my position, just stories wise. But the group we have this year, like everyone gets along really well.
Yeah.
Like there's no egos, there's no nothing behind closed doors there. Like, but like everyone just gets along, which makes it a lot easier to train. And like, cause you don't feel as like pressured. Like, you know, if you're gonna mess up, like you're just not gonna get crucified. You're gonna be like, next play, need to do this, need to do that, move on.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Looking as well at VJ, like his repertoire of shot is insane, isn't it? So it must be so good to just go and go, that, I saw that. Because you'll watch tape back as well, I suppose, and go, what even was that? And like work on stuff and all the rest of it. It must be so good. I love it.
And what's good as well, I think, is that, you know, although the guys are playing those sort of lesser minutes in the BBL squad, they're a massive part of the second team setup. So, you know, the most of your game is being played in NBL Div 2, isn't it, with the men's second team? And you guys are pretty much you're like leading the way, aren't you, in terms of scoring and things like that as well? I mean, I think I saw I caught a game, because we stream every game on YouTube for the men's second team. So if you are watching the podcast here on YouTube, you can go check out the men's second team streams here on YouTube as well. Pasquale absolutely dominated at Div 2 level. It's like a man amongst boys out there.
Go on, hit me with some numbers then, Joel, if you got any. Or Pasquale, hit me with some numbers.
Pasquale can hit with some numbers. What you averaging this year, Pasquale?
I think I'm averaging about 18 points a game, 19 points a game.
What's your top scoring game?
This year, I think it's 25, but that was against Hemel Storm. I think that was... that was a cup game, yeah. That's the D1 team.
That's massive. Yeah. Nassim, it was a special moment for you with the Plymouth game, wasn't it? Over the Christmas period, of course, you knocked down is that your first BBL points this season?
Yeah, this season. Yeah. This is my first points of this season. Yeah.
I think we've got a clip here. If we can run it on screen. It was Plymouth away through the Christmas period.
I missed the first one, but I was just they were finding me, so I had to put the second one.
There you go. Second one goes in. You can see the fans there, bottom right of the screen as well.
Yeah,
you travelled really well to that game.
Yeah, having that amount of fans at an away game was pretty crazy. I really haven't seen anything like that before. But I used to be those fans. Like when I was younger, coming to the Plymouth game after Christmas to come and watch. I used to be in those stands. So it's all come round.
Yeah. Can you exactly how do you pronounce your surname, by the way?
Oh, Ladjimi or Ladjimi. Sort of same,
but the guy we were watching, I was so excited, by the way, watching, and me and my wife were there, and when you missed first, I was like, come on, another, and you got the other one. I was loving it. But when you first came on, I was kind of half watching, like I was doing something else because it was like a break, and the commentator was saying Ladjimi or something like straight up, like but like a gap in between, and I was like, and we didn't hear the lad bit, and we were like, who's Jimmy? Who said Jimmy's coming? I was like, who on earth is Jimmy? And then we saw him come on, I was like, yes, let's get this. So yeah.
Jimmy for free.
Yeah,
love
Jimmy
it.
For free. I loved it.
What did coach say to you before you checked in? Did he?
He did. He actually said, like when he said, like, go in and get me a quick three. So I was like, say less, coach. I got you. And then when after the game, when we high-fived, and I said, coach, I said, I got you. I said I would do it. No, it was funny because he did say, like, go on and get me a free.
I love that.
Yeah.
You should have said free Fernando's.
At that half court.
You should have said.
TV won us the Nando's today, so.
Oh, did he? He hit a half court shot, did he?
Yeah, no, when we were training over the Christmas break, so.
Yeah. And you hit a half court shot recently, didn't you? You won the low and slow, is that right?
Yeah, I didn't even get to go though to low and slow.
Oh no.
I had to coach, so.
Oh no.
I missed out on that.
So you won it for everyone and then didn't even get to enjoy it.
Said everybody eats, but
everyone eats.
They get you takeaway. They gotta get you takeaway when you do that.
Takeaway box.
They should. Nassim, did that three sort of feel even better knowing that it was against Plymouth and like that's a bit of a rivalry game? And I mean, I know you've played in those or experienced that Southwest rivalry before.
Kind of, because I played a lot against Plymouth when I was younger, like growing up, like through the youth bit of Flyers. Like I'm pretty sure my best National League game was against Plymouth, like 11 from 13 from 3, like in like under 18s against Plymouth. But yeah, coming back to play against the BBL team and kind of being able to score on them as well, that was a good feeling.
That's awesome. We spoke about how like you guys are having to balance everything. Pasquale, you're also balancing your master's degree, aren't you? You're studying at UOB.
UOB.
There's a little joke off there. University of Bristol, of course. This is a bit awkward because Sam and I are UE till we die.
You what? UE, that's what you do. But yeah.
Yeah, we both played at UE for, we played a couple of years ago, didn't we?
A couple of years, mate. And so we absolutely hate you, by the way. That's how it works.
Who was better, UOB or UE back?
Oh, we were way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah, we were, UE always better.
Nothing's changed.
Who's better? UE better now?
I'm saying right now, if we do a varsity, right, anything can happen.
Really?
Yeah. Because I'm a different player when I play for UOB.
Yeah,
I'm a
but
completely different
You've
player.
got Malk playing. You've got.
I'll be hitting step backs, be in the post. I'll do everything.
Well, here we go. There's some words here from Pasquale.
We'll stream that game on the YouTube.
We really are they doing a varsity this year?
I don't know.
I say we need to make it
put-
happen because you can't let him talk all this and without any proof or we need to see it happen.
Why wouldn't they do a varsity? They have to do a varsity, surely.
I mean, I don't play for UOB this year because I can't balance everything else. That'll be my third team, and obviously studying with my masters, so I couldn't do it. But if they did a varsity and they called me up, I'll definitely play.
You should go. Do you know the coaches? Who is the coach?
Sam Davis.
Oh yeah, right.
Sam, yeah.
You know, we know Sam. You should go
Yeah.
speak to Sam. And be like, if you're doing varsity, get me in.
Get me in, yeah.
He'd totally do it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
There you go. We'll have to watch this space because I'd go watch it. 100%.
I would 100% watch
I want
that.
to commentate that
They used to
game.
do it at SGS. Our team used to.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
That's where I first started doing announcing, actually, in that first, what's it called, varsity game after we left uni. They were like, should we just get someone to announce? And I was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. So
Yeah. Oh,
there you go, mate.
There we
That's
go.
where it all begins for everyone.
100%. I'd love to see that game. We should make it happen. We'll find, if it's not happening already, we'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
And we'll stream it somehow. People deserve to watch that game, I think. What is it you're studying at UAB?
So I'm doing a master's in research, and it's research in like physiology, pharmacology, and neuroscience. So it's
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We've got
That's-
genius on our hands.
Yeah, and also balancing BBL and men's too, by the way.
It's just you. Do you ever stop? Well, I'm surprised you even got time to come here and do this with us,
Yeah,
mate.
I know, you should be studying.
Yeah.
yeah.
There we
Well,
go.
I always find the time.
Always the
This is
time.
just a study on neuroscience on the neuroscience of Sam and Joel right now, actually. So, what are you thinking? Got something weird
Very-
about us?
very
or are we all
complex.
right?
Quite normal.
Very good stuff. Fellas, today is our men's second team special, so we are shining a light on the second team program. You guys play in NBL Division Two, which obviously you mentioned just earlier. It's the third tier, isn't it, of British basketball? Obviously, the Flyers, the first team, which are the BBL team now, they entered in Division 3 back in 2005, and it's promotion and relegation, isn't it, from Div 3 all the way through up until Division 1. And you guys started at Div 3, didn't you? You guys have earned
Div
promotion.
4, I think.
Was it Div 4
Div
back
4,
then,
yeah,
was it?
but I think
Yeah.
they changed the league system, so then they only said 3 divisions instead of 4.
I think we had just got promoted to D3 just as that
Yeah.
had happened.
And then they just bumped us up to D2.
Wow.
And that's what happened.
And the Flyers, obviously the first team back then, worked their way up into Div 1 before the Bristol Sport investment came on board, and then that helped them get into the BBL because that's a franchise system. You can't get promoted into the BBL. You can only earn promotions up and down from the National League levels. How's the season going? Tell us more about the second team program. Who are the players to watch, etc. I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, it's going well. We had a really good start, and then we had like a couple of games where we lost. And I think there was a couple on the road that we lost. We had a big game against Hurricanes, another Bristol rivalry.
Did you beat them?
We won't.
We won't talk about that one.
We won't talk about the first game, but the day after we got our revenge and we beat them in the cup. So we played them back to back on weekends. So we had we kind of got our backsides handed to us the first day. And then,
Go on. What was the score? Go on.
It's not the score; it's the
Nah,
start.
it was the start.
It was the start.
really
It was just
bad.
like a 25-0 to start like something crazy like that.
Oh no!
Yeah.
But I think they knew exactly what we were doing. Like they probably watched video for months. I reckon.
Yeah, they were
100%.
very
They were very
very much
prepared,
ready
yeah.
for that game.
Really?
Very much ready.
Yeah.
So what changed the next day?
I
think
wasn't
we
playing that game.
Yeah, we just
That's probably
we
why.
had to get rid of
The second one.
person hurting our team.
Yeah.
Trying all these step back threes,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Too many shots.
But
As
that's
I told coach, take him with you to the PBL game. Like, we could.
but that's one thing I've noticed about like the Div 2 level. It's obviously split into 2 conferences, isn't it? There's the North Conference and the South Conference. Now, Sam, thinking of where Bristol would be, you'd expect them to be in the South, wouldn't you?
By the way you're talking, I'm expecting that something weird's about to go on.
Well, in fact, all 3 of the Bristol teams that are in the NBL Division 2 play in NBL Division 2 North.
Why?
Well, I think it's
It's-
just because of the teams, isn't it? Number of teams, I imagine.
I don't even know why because it just makes it a hassle for all the teams. Because now Newcastle have to come to us, and we have to go to Newcastle, and we've got to go to where were we the other day? Not Derbyshire.
Well, they have to do 3 trips to Bristol, not just one.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But are there teams who are more north than you who are technically who are in the South Division? You know, like a Birmingham or
Probably.
something.
There is a Birmingham.
We've got Birmingham in our.
Yeah.
There's probably some. I'm not very familiar with the Southern Conference,
Mm.
but there's for sure some that should be in the North.
North is better than South though.
Yeah,
So
the
that's a
North.
good thing for your
Yeah, it's good
competitiveness.
for our team. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you win the South, do you then have to go into some sort of playoff against the North? Sorry, if you win the North, do you have to go into a playoff against the South winner? So then who gets promoted or what?
I'm not sure. The promotion,
think
you
they
get 2
do
teams
that,
get
yeah.
promoted. Yeah.
and is
2
that
gets
is that the
relegated.
top teams that finish the league, or is that the winner
Yeah.
of the playoffs?
Nah, top two teams. So top team in the North, top team in the South. They both get promoted. To
Yeah. So
so
Division.
surely you want to be in the South then, because if it's a easier.
Now we want to be challenged.
Okay, yeah,
better,
cool.
right?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
There's some really
that's
good
the
players,
mentality that I don't have. That's why I don't play professional basketball,
That's it.
Joel.
There we
And
go.
these guys do it.
there's some really good players in our league.
There
as well.
are, aren't
There's some
there?
ex-BBL players, some
Mm.
ex-pro players, like,
Yeah.
and they're not they're not veterans. They're not been out of the game for a while. They've like probably within like 2 years, or like even a year, and they're playing in Division Two. So
Mm.
Well, it must be that I imagine the BBL sort of structure and playing for a team is actually really intense and really hard. And if you then get to a point where you're not wanting to put your body through that, or you want to do other things with your life, you still want to play basketball. Training 2 times in a game at the weekend is manageable, right?
Mhm.
And so they'll just finish doing what they're doing, come down to what you're doing, Div 2, and then I'm sure tear it up a little bit as well, right?
Well, there's teams with BBL experience as well, like Worcester Wolves, who obviously dropped out of the BBL a couple of years ago now after the pandemic. They play in the same league as Flyers 2. City of Birmingham Rockets, who obviously have BBL ambitions of their own, like they are in the same league right now. They just need to get the financial bits all sorted, and they can put an application to join the BBL. That's their sort of longer term vision that they've publicly talked about.
It's a long old name, that, isn't it?
City of Birmingham Rockets. Yeah, we're gonna have to shorten that
I
down.
like the
I think.
vision though, because big cities like that need for the British basketball to move on and to keep growing. Like you need teams, like especially BBL teams in big cities like Manchester and London, and definitely Birmingham is definitely one of them.
Yeah, they do. I think also what's great about like the Div 2 sort of structure, the whole Basketball England structure, is that like a lot of teams that have their second teams playing in those lower levels, so it's like a progression system. So players like yourselves can be called up from that team if they're playing well to take extra minutes for the BBL side if they're short on numbers, etc.
I think Sheffield do that.
Well, there's not many teams, are there, that
I think
do
Sheffield's
that?
the only one off the top of my head.
I think Newcastle, I don't know if they have a link with the Div 1 side,
and
or
Leicester maybe
Leicester with
Yeah.
like the is it Loughborough that play in Div
Loughborough
1?
and Charnwood, yeah,
Yeah.
like those two.
And then apart from that, there's not many BBL teams that have that link, and that's a really good way, isn't it, of like recruiting players into your club, that you can play lots of minutes in the Div 2 level, get yourself up to speed, because I imagine you guys have very similar sort of playbooks, or you sort of run similar plays from the Div 2 side to the BBL side, and then it's just a case of a seamless transition in if you guys earn that call up.
yeah.
The structures are basically there's not as many plays as the BBL, but the structure of like how the game is played is very similar. Because obviously Coach Bourne, he's assistant coach in BBL, so there's quite a lot of similarities between the two, which also helps as well, because in these with this Division 2 team, it definitely prepares you for when you do get called up as well. Because obviously if you're used to Division 2, obviously the pace of the game is different, but the discipline and the structure of the game, it doesn't change really. It's just more about the pace of the game and obviously the caliber of players that you're playing against. But
Yeah.
I think I've had my head in the Flyers for so many years now that I'm like, I see the structure, I see the kids coming up, you see all the different age levels. Like, am I like sort of oblivious to the fact that other cities don't really have that massive structure?
Well, every year, coach puts up on the board, doesn't he? The intro meeting at the start is like, this is the club program, and you've got the BBL first team, you got the men's second team, you have and this is for men's, you got the BBL first team, the men's second team, under 18s, 16s, 14s and 12s, and there's not many clubs that has that whole pathway. And then there's the SGS Basketball Academy, which is like your post-16 studies where you combine basketball and playing together.
We've also got the Bristol Sport hubs and the Saturday mornings.
Exactly.
and
And
that's where I started playing. Like I had Roy Owen and Doug McLaughlin-Williams come to my primary school
Nice.
to teach me basketball, and that's getting kids involved early and showing them that it's not just about football. You know, like there's more sports that you can be good at and enjoy, and then to come along and then start like how I did, starting on Saturday, and then literally playing in every single age group until you get to the top.
I suppose though, by having the link with Bristol Sport, like, and having that foundation sort of, you know, the charities and all the rest of it, it is harder for other basketball clubs who don't have that sort of structure that we have here as well, isn't it?
And we're building that with the women's program as well. I mean, now we've got teams playing junior level. The girls program is growing from strength to strength, all feeding up through into the women's academy. SGS has really grown over the last sort of year or so. And the WNBL 1 team, eventually we want to, you know, if Bristol Sport can get involved with them and make them WBBL, it's essentially the whole package of player pathway where you don't get that with. It's hard to explain. I'd love to be able to. We'll do this one week.
We'll get a visual.
No, we will, because Coach has the visual. We'll get the visual up on screen and we'll show it to everyone in terms of the structure of the club. Because that's really interesting, and I don't think people really understand the player pathway through. But you can come in, like you see players like, you know, Greg, for example, Greg Street, players coming in at these young age group, Corey, Josh Rogers, the list goes on. Players coming in right from the start, going up through the junior age groups, and now playing for the first team in the BBL. I don't think there's another club that really does it as well as we do here in Bristol.
Nassim, how old are you, by the way?
20.
You're 20, so when we were playing at uni, and then I was also doing Div 4 back then, and I knew lots of the kids around as well. I probably would have seen you about 10, 11 years ago as a kid playing. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, the Saturday mornings at Wise. Yeah,
That's weird, isn't it?
It's amazing. And that's what it's all about. That's the whole club's ethos in a nutshell, is growing homegrown talent. It's amazing. If you do want to watch these guys, by the way, in NBL Div 2 action, as you say, we do stream all the games over on YouTube, so make sure you watch their games. We do live stream. There's no commentary on those games, unfortunately, because
you guys want to start commentating?
well, potentially. The issue is they always happen before the BBL game, don't they? So we're always like setting up during that time, aren't we, for BBL games?
That's the excuse.
They usually tip off around 3 o'clock or 1 o'clock.
I think this weekend's game's at 5, but normally around like mid-afternoon.
Yeah, so we do stream them on YouTube. You can go watch those on the Flyers YouTube channel. You guys also played together at a really young age, right, when you first started playing. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I didn't play for Bristol. I started playing Bristol in my under-18s, my first under-18s season. But I played Southwest with Nassim when I was like 13. I was playing in Dorchester back
up the
then.
Dorchester
Tigers.
I'm a Dorchester boy myself.
I'm the Oval, so just around the corner.
Oh, nah, Dorchester's better, mate.
Yeah, it probably is.
Literally is, mate.
Probably is,
it literally is. I'll tell you what, we actually do have, by the powers up here at the podcast, we've done some digging. And we've managed to find ourselves a lovely photo, courtesy of someone who will not be named. Let's get it up on screen here, producer Dan, because here is a picture of you guys playing at Southwest.
You probably can't even figure out which one's me.
There's Nassim, back row on the right.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Pasquale, back row on the left.
You've not changed, Pasquale, actually.
No, I've just got a beard now.
This group was a really funny, really funny group to play with and go on tours with.
Yeah, it was good. It was good fun.
Is there anyone else there who's been through the Bristol?
Yes.
Yeah,
The thing is about Southwest is that we'll always have a lot of Bristol players in. So that's Casey there with the blue jacket to the right of Pasquale.
Yeah.
And then to the right of that, that's Leo Molyneux. He also came through. The two guys in front of me, on the right is Nathan, on the left is Sam. They were both players. And then to the left of me, Kai making the funny face, and then below him that's Anthony, and they were all Bristol players. Bristol, we had half the team was Bristol products.
It's amazing, isn't it? Fun fact for you also, I used to play Southwest back in the day when I was a junior. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, fun fact for you.
I learned something new about you every week.
I came through the academy at SGS College, so you know, making careers on and off the court at the academy.
I did. My family's all Welsh, so I went up through the Welsh program instead. So
I remember actually.
So.
I remember. No, I do remember that. We wouldn't be a Flyers podcast episode without embarrassing you with some young pictures. So thank you to our source for providing said picture. Perfect embarrassment material here on the podcast.
So Pasquale, you're obviously a Dorchester man, but Pasquale Landolfi doesn't really suggest Dorchester. What's that all about?
My parents are both Italian, so it's actually and a name from Napoli is quite common there. So that's where my parents.
Landolfi is quite a common name.
Yeah. Well, no, not Landolfi. Pasquale is quite
Pasquale.
common, but only in like a Campania region. You won't find my name up north in Italy or anywhere else really.
I love it. I think I've told you this before, but often I've called you the land dolphin.
You always say that.
Even when I call him on sometimes, and no one will know because it's so similar.
Yeah,
but
it's,
land dolphin.
Landolfi.
Yeah. I like it. It's just a little fact
good
for you.
news.
Thanks for that, Sam. Appreciate that. Well, fellas, we have to get to our quick fire question segment because we could talk all day here. We overrun a little bit here, but we move. Sam, shall we get ready for the quick fire questions with Pasquale and Nassim? Oh, here we go.
That was a bit ahead of a bit quick there, mate. Sorry.
That's all right. Lights are red. Don't be nervous, fellas. We'll go one by one. So, Pasquale, we'll start with you. We basically ask all our guests to answer as many quick fire questions as they can in 30 seconds. The score to beat is 10, I believe.
11, 10, 11.
10. Who scored 11?
I don't know.
I know
We literally should have made a leaderboard, shouldn't we?
we should have, but we don't do that sort of nonsense here on the podcast. Pasquale, are you ready?
I'm
Your
ready.
30 seconds starts now. What was your favourite subject in school?
Maths.
What NBA player has most influenced your game?
LeBron.
Who was the one player on the team with the worst fashion sense?
Me.
What is your favourite song to listen to right now?
A Drake song.
What's something about you that people would not know? Give us a fact.
I don't know. I don't like pizza. I don't know.
What actor would you like to play you in a film about your life?
I don't know.
You don't like pizza, you're Italian.
No, that was a lie.
I was going to
I
say.
don't know what. I don't know what.
Wait.
No, I was gonna
He
say I
said-
don't like mayo with pizza.
No, he
I
said
don't know
He
what-
crumbled under the
what-
pressure.
He said LeBron influences his game.
I don't know. I just thought first NBA player.
Name of them-
That was
I mean,
really
that's
good.
fine. I mean, to be honest, we don't. They're not right or wrong answers here. It's just
That's true. You can
give us an
literally say
answer.
anything. That's a good tactic,
Yeah.
You
actually.
give us an answer and we'll take it. But you can't say pass is the only thing.
Anything.
You got a grand score of 5 that time. So no, that's tied with Leslie Smith.
Yeah, tied worst with Leslie Smith.
Can't.
So you're joint bottom. Whoops. Nassim,
All right, game
you
time.
have to beat 5, right?
Start with the one after that.
For bragging rights. Okay.
Yeah.
Nassim, are you ready? Your 30
do
seconds
it.
on the clock starts from now. If you weren't a basketball player, what would you be?
Actor.
Who on your team has the worst taste in music?
Pasquale.
Ankle breaker or poster?
Ankle breaker.
What's your favourite movie of all time?
He got game.
Who is your? What's your favourite song to listen to right now?
Blind by Scissor.
Who is your childhood celebrity crush?
Nia Long.
Who's your best friend on the team?
Tugger.
What country do you want to travel to most?
Italy.
What's your favourite food?
Lasagna.
Who is your favourite career What is your favourite career moment?
Game winner against Derby in the ABL.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. So you literally were joint top.
Yes.
Is that joint top or second? I don't know.
Let's go joint top. Why
Someone will
not?
tweet us and tell us that we're their second or top. I don't
That was
know.
a great performance. I think
That was a
deserves
very
to-
good performance. I do feel like that deserves a round of
Lasagna's one of my
applause.
favourite food.
Have you got a round of applause?
Mac and cheese,
Yeah.
my favourite
He-
food.
he
but
was
I
chucking-
just had to think.
Your favourite is mac and cheese normally.
Yeah, mac and cheese. I just had to think on the spot, and he's right next to me. Pizza, lasagna.
He was
Italian.
giving you rubbish as well about his taste in music.
I don't know what he
Yeah.
listens to. I
I've
just he's
got
just
good
who I
taste in
saw.
music.
You said a song by Drake.
Yeah, I don't know what song, but
That's probably what made me think.
There must be a round of applause on here somewhere. Is there a round of applause on the soundboard? Is there one? This one here? No. No, it's not. That's not a round of applause. There used to be a round of applause on here, but I don't know. Scrap that. Congratulations, mate. You got yourself a score of 10. Sam, time for us to get to this week's news.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
All right, time to take a look at what's been happening around the league since our last episode. And Sam, there is a lot to chat about because we haven't had an episode in 2 weeks.
I know. We need to smash through it though, because we are going to run out of time otherwise.
Oh
aren't
no, we're plenty good for time now. We bashed through that last section.
Okay, good.
Flyers obviously 2 for 1 over the holiday period. We have to start talking about those 3 games. I think if you were to look at those 3 games, I think the best way of looking at the season is looking at it by chunks. So if you look at this festive period as a little chunk in itself, and you said to me before going into that, you can finish 2 for 1 in that 3-game period with 2 banana skin games, one of them being New Year's Day at Surrey, one of them being that festive game down in Plymouth, I probably would have taken it.
Well, I would have taken 3-0 actually, John.
No, but you know what I mean, though. Like, it's a tough, like those 2 games, particularly the one we had on the 28th against Plymouth and that New Year's Day game. Those are games that traditionally in the past have been banana skin games for Flyers.
Oops, sorry to touch Pasquale's leg. My bad. The truth is, mate, I agree with you. I think Surrey have got some guys come back from injury now, haven't they?
Yeah,
so looking stronger.
Yeah, they're playing their best basketball right now. You felt their first home win was coming. They had guys that have been out for most of the season, so they're slowly starting to come back. Andrew Lawrence is playing some of his best basketball this season, close back to full strength now. So it was a tough game. I mean, fellas, how do you reflect on that kind of 3-game period over the festive stretch?
What you said is quite right. Like, looking at the season in chunks, like coach will talk about how it's like a long season, and that you got to like pick your moments. Like he was just saying that the other day, like pick your moments and when to kind of push through. And I definitely agree with that. So like we've learned a lot over the Christmas break the Christmas games, and we kind of from that experience take what we know now into this next span of January games and finish January strong to go into the last couple months of the season.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think like that New Year's Day game in particular against Surrey, they do a great job of selling it out. It's always a hostile crowd. Their record on New Year's Day is a traditional game for them. They were 11-1 at home on New Year's Day going into that game.
That is crazy.
You'll speak to coach and he won't believe all that kind of stigma with like the run on New Year's Day on a certain day or whatever, but the fans will believe it. The players will definitely think that in the back. Like the Surrey players will definitely be thinking that we've got this good record on New Year's Day. Confidence is there, and they're coming in on some good performances as well. They pushed Leicester all the way. They pushed Newcastle all the way. And
a tough game with us as well.
It was the one before.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was the first game against the first game. I guess we'll start on that one. 78-73. It was on the 23rd, just before Christmas. Our 10th league win of the season. It was close, wasn't it, the whole way through? And then that 4th quarter, we were just able to stretch it out at the end.
I was watching it with my family because they were all just around for Christmas and all the rest of it, and it was so like they wouldn't shut up, and it was really annoying me because it was such a close game, and I was like on edge the whole time.
Jelani had caught fire in the first. Like, he was 6 for 6 from behind the 3-point line in the first half.
One of the best first. But yeah, it's one of the best performances in like the half I think I've ever seen in the BBL. That was insane. Like it didn't matter what he was going to shoot. Like it was going to go in. I kind of just wish he had shot more. Like taking more bad shots.
20 first half points. He finished with 24 points in total. 6 for 9 shooting from deep.
He was 6 for 6.
6 for 6 in the first half. Yeah. So the heat check came in that second half. He was on fire.
If you like, we know what Lani can do. Like the first couple of times we scrimmaged with Lani when he first came to Bristol, like he wasn't missing. I'm just like, who is this guy? Like, I just never heard of this guy before. Like, I don't know how. Like, he's English and he's in America, but I never heard of him. And he's just a scorer. He's just a pro scorer, really. But yeah,
he really has proven to be like one of the pickups of the season around the league.
Like, people are surprised, but if like, people on the team, we're not surprised. No. Like, we know what he can do.
Yeah. I was watching that, and the first couple go in, you're like, that's cool. But I think it was the 4th one was the 24-second clock buzzer beater, right, from deep, which was like, I was like, okay, here we go. Then the next one, and then the final one,
where it bounced
around off the back in again. You're like, this is one of those games right now, and it was. But the good thing was, and I don't know what the stats are, John. Maybe you can help me, but in that span, he was 6 from 6, but the rest of the team were like 1 from something crazy, or it wasn't like no one else was hitting threes in that first half, were they?
Well, I'll tell you right now. I've got the live stats right in front of me. They shot a total of 7 for 23 from behind the 3-point line in that game. So, sorry. Everyone else, by the way, in that game, you look at the stats, Lani was 6 for 9. Everyone else, I mean, Miller.
What was that? 8 from 22 the whole game?
8 from 22 the whole game.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
And Jelani hit 6 of them.
in a row.
Yeah, in the first half.
And do we know when the other 2 came in? I can't really remember.
Any of the what? Sorry,
the other 2 threes came in. I don't know when they came in the game.
VJ King hit one, and Malcolm. No, that's a free throw. Good reading of the stats, Joel. Corey hit one,
And TB.
TB hit one.
Yeah.
So, no, 85-93 was the final score. That was Flyers' 10th league win of the season. That was the first game of the 3-game period. The second game, after Christmas, that trip down to Plymouth. Obviously, we know from previous years that Plymouth, that festive game, it's a hostile crowd. The fans travelled really well to that game, by the way. Really made themselves heard.
How many were there? Do you know?
There was a good. We definitely had our whole allocation of like ones we used for like friends and family.
Yeah.
I reckon there were close to like 30 to 40 to 50 people there.
My grandparents were there.
Really?
Were they?
Yeah.
They're making noise?
Yeah, they kind of have really started to get into basketball this season. Like,
Really?
they really enjoy coming to the games. Like not even just the second team games, where I play like a lot more. Like even the BBL games, like they really enjoy, and I think my mom tells me like they really can get into it sometimes.
That's awesome.
They must have been buzzed when you scored there.
Yeah, that was a perfect game for them to come watch because you came on and scored that 3. Yeah, amazing. I mean, this game was just dominant on the rebound battle. I mean, like that told the whole story of the game. I don't think they could really handle the Flyers' physicality in the game. I mean, it was the rebound battle. Flyers won at 52-27. Plymouth had 21 rebounds on the defensive end. Flyers had 21 offensive rebounds.
I was watching as well, and by the half it was 34-39 to Flyers.
Yeah, it was like a 5-point game or something like that going into the half. Yeah,
Second half. What you got? You was 96 ended on. Is that right?
Yeah.
Final score was I don't even have it on my sheet. It was like 90. Yeah, it was almost 100. I
It
think.
was 70-96. That was the final score,
There we go.
and it was 39 points in the first half. So who's the mathematician? Come up, Pasquale. What did we get in the second half there?
Pasquale's doing quick maths. He's not able to do it.
That's 57 points. 57 points they got in the second half. Like
I'll tell you what also was good in that game, 32 trips to the free throw line for Flyers. I know we didn't shoot the ball too well from the foul line, only shot 68% from the line, but I don't think they really could have dealt with our physicality. They couldn't really defend without fouling in the air, and especially in that third quarter. It did get chippy, didn't it, in that third quarter?
Yeah, but what you were talking about, like the rebounds and like kind of what we say, like our bigs beating their bigs. Like we definitely capitalized on that. Like Les had a great game, Malcolm had a great game, and we just rebounded well, pushed the ball well. But yeah, you're right. It did get a little bit spicy in the third.
And that was like, I mean, you look at like what happened the last time you guys played. I don't know if you weren't there, you wouldn't have been there for that game, but that friendly game down at the Pavilions.
I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It was like a friendly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like like 5 players got ejected on the benches. It ended up being 5v5, went to double overtime.
So that was the friendly game like a year ago.
So yeah,
how
essentially
friendly was it?
it was because we couldn't field a full strength squad because we had players out due to COVID. So we had to send. Basically, we had like 6 players available or 5 players available. So we basically filled up with unregistered players and went down to Plymouth so they could still have a game.
I think you might. I know that happened, but I think that was a different game. I swear it was a
Was
league
that
game.
not the- was that
It was a
the-
league game.
Ejected.
Was that the league game? Oh, okay.
It was a league game, yeah.
Okay.
Because Marcus then couldn't play the next game, and it wouldn't have been the same if it was a friendly.
Yeah, no,
and there was
you're
all the
right.
debate about
You
all
are
that,
right.
wasn't there?
You
Yeah.
are right. That was a different one because the one before it also. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. That was close. That was also an overtime game, though, wasn't it? That one.
It's
But that
always
5v5 was So obviously every time Flyers play Plymouth, it's very chippy. So it's good that you guys were able to come out
Even
with the
from
win
the games, like I remember, like growing up and watching, like the year where we had Cardell McFarlane and versus Josh Wiltshire. I think it was double overtime.
Yeah.
And I think he had floated to win. And then maybe it was Tyrone Lee that blocked someone off the backboard.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Greg
yeah.
That blocked someone. off the
Greg
back-
Street blocked
Yeah.
Josh Wiltshire off the backboard.
to
I remember
win.
that one.
Daryl Corletto hitting the 2 threes in like the last 20 seconds.
Yeah, I remember that game
There's
very well.
there's so many games against Plymouth that are just like kind of legendary.
Yeah.
And especially in our rivalry,
Yeah.
as we call it.
Well, this one will definitely live long with the Flyers fans. That 26-point win on the road. Obviously, the last game we did briefly brush over at the start, but the New Year's Day game down in Surrey, they went out to a 10-point lead with 2.5 minutes to go, and we did have a massive fight back in the end. To be fair, there's like 3 straight threes from like Jelani, TB, and Brandon. To make it like a 5-point game in like the last 40 seconds, but just a little bit too much in the end, and they ran out winners in that one. So, obviously, like a chance to bounce back now. You're returning back home. It was 3 games on the road. What's it been like in practice this week? What's the mood been like?
It's been good. I feel like you'd think, after a loss like that, everyone put their heads down but that didn't happen. We've just come together as a group, watch video, so like, this is what we did wrong, this is what we did good, and now we move on to the next game, because like Coach said, like one loss would go into like 2 or 3 losses, and then suddenly the league, like your position on the league table can just drop just like that. So you can't really like dwell on these games. You just have to keep going and just focus on the next game and just focus what you want to do in practice. And yeah, we had a practice today, and yeah, it was really good. Like everyone was focused, involved. So
big game this weekend. 1 home win, 1 away loss against Leicester. Let's see if we get it going again, right?
Yeah, series tied at one apiece with the Riders so far this season, so it should be a tasty one at home against Leicester, all to play for. A win would see Flyers go joint second with the Riders in the league table. So tickets for that game, by the way, are sold out, so you can't actually buy tickets for that game, but they are available. You can watch it online at the BBL YouTube channel, as always. Check the BBL YouTube channel. You can watch the game, Flyers versus Riders. And on Sunday, we've got Manchester Giants away from home as well, which is another tasty game. Obviously, Flyers were able to defeat Manchester by a single point in that first game of the season. So again, a chance to see. Everyone always talks about whether the Flyers can get it done on the road or not. Another chance to see Flyers in action on the road. You can watch that 5 p.m. tip-off on Sunday. One more thing I've got to bring up this week, just before we get to the mailbag section and the word of the week. We actually are running behind schedule a little bit here.
I told you.
Before we get to the mailbag section and the word of the week, a little bit of beef for you here, Sam. I don't know if you're a vegetarian, but I've got beef coming your way.
Is it time?
Bit of Twitter beef. No, it's not. It's a good bit of fun.
Oh, go on, hit me up with the beef.
One of the big games over the Christmas period was Leicester Riders taking on the London Lions.
Yeah.
London Lions, it's sort of turned into a bit of a rivalry now, since they're sort of the two that always try and compete at the top of the league table and things like that. They played each other. London came out on top with a win, and shortly after they put this tweet out on social media. If we can get it up here on screen. It basically says, it's a meme, and it's an image of a guy sat at a laptop, and it says Leicester Riders fans, and then the other half of it is the man basically turned into a skeleton, insinuating that they're waiting a long time for another win against London Lions. And the caption says, salty comments incoming in 3, 2, 1. I quite like this tweet, to be fair.
That's funny. I got time for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, teams like to banter each other on socials. I'm all for this kind of stuff. What do you guys think? Are you guys fans of this sort of stuff on social, this sort of Twitter beef?
No, you're not really on Twitter, are you?
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter a lot. Like now being a player, I can watch, but I can't like and interact with anything, because I know I'll get myself in trouble.
Sounds like someone who's listened to the media briefing at the start of the season right there.
I listen. Don't worry, I listen. Yeah, no, it's entertaining, and it's like, it shows that the league has a real fan base, and it's not just it just shows that we're growing, and when fan bases are going at each other, it's always entertaining.
Yeah,
can't be mad at that.
It sparked a lot of conversation, didn't it, as well? People were sort of saying bring back the salary cap. London are going to walk away with the league this year. No, I quite enjoy having these top-level talented players come into the league, and I quite would like to see clubs getting to aspire to be that position as well. I don't think there should be
We need your cheeky tweets back after the.
Hey, we've been. You
guys have been good.
We have been very good this season. We're normally very trolly on Twitter. We have been very good. We're playing the humble card right now on social media, but maybe watch this space. If anyone pokes the bear will bite back. That's my approach this year on social. So,
are you the bear? Or are you Joe?
The big bear on socials.
Do you know what? We also get to meet a load of the media guys from the teams who come and travel down, and they'll sit where we are working on game days, and they're actually genuinely nice people who are having a fun time, and they're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah,
it's just fun.
A lot of it's premeditated. We'll reach out to each other and be like, look, FYI, there's a tweet coming your way which might not go down well with your fans. Just to let you know, maybe we could plan a response if you like. Or, do you know what I mean? There's always conversation happening there between the teams. They won't just post it out without letting each other know before. So, no, I'm all for it. It should be good fun. Maybe we'll bring some back with Flyers. We'll see. We'll see. Sam, time for us to get to our word of the week. And obviously the wheel did not make an appearance before Christmas because we were away for 3 straight games. However,
Nice.
the wheel is back, Sam. Have you got the sound at the ready? Because I'm going to go grab it right now. Are you ready? Oh, is he ready? I'm going to grab the wheel.
Yeah, all good. Go for
He's
it.
gonna. I'm getting it now. Bring on the wheel.
Oh, it's charging.
Well, there we have it. So we've got the wheel. We filled in everything except we've got one spot available from
Although I
last
don't
time.
have a pen, so producer Dan's going to have to go and grab me a pen any second now. But fellas, we don't have a word here on our wheel. So obviously, if you're new to the pod, here comes the pen flying in. What a catch!
Thank you very much.
Obviously, for those that are new to the Bristol Flyers podcast, I have a little game we like to play here on the pod. It's called the Word of the Week. Every week we spin this wheel, whatever word it lands on, we have to squeeze into the commentary for that weekend's game. We've got plenty of good words up here, all put in by fans or players or previous guests on the podcast. However, we do have a space up here at the top of the wheel. So fellas, we would like you to decide what word we should put on our wheel, please.
UOB.
UOB. I don't know how I feel about that, Joel. Actually, you know, as a UE alumni, let's hope it doesn't land on this one.
Charge it.
Charge
I
it.
do hope it lands on charge it.
Well, producer Dan's given me the best pen to work with here, but it does. We can kind of see it here on the wheel. It does say UOB. I think you can see it in the right light. So we're going to give this wheel a spin. Whichever word it lands on will be squeezed into the commentary for this weekend's game against the Leicester Riders. Sam, are you ready? Shall we give this wheel a spin?
Let's go for it. Oh, he's going back again. Oh, go on, sit on there.
No!
No, it's actually on UOB. UOB.
It's UOB. All right.
UOB boys.
So UOB is the word of the week. I'm gonna have to fit that into the commentary, which I think will be pretty straightforward. UOB, but I'll try and say it in that way as well.
Who do we hate? UOB. What do you think of UOB? Hate them. Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, cool. Right, time to get to this week's mailbag section.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Sorry to cut you off there, Sam. I thought you were mid-sentence there.
I was basically going to say I'm joking. I don't actually hate UOB. Okay, guys. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very nice of you, Sam. I still hate UAB. Time for us to get to wrap up the podcast this week with our mailbag section. Each week we ask fans to send in their questions to our studio guests. We had some great questions come in. The first question is from Olivia Atkinson on Instagram. She asks, what do you guys do pre-game to get into the zone?
I make sure that I have to make the first shot of the game. First shot when I get on the court, like it has to be a make. Because if you make the first shot, it'll be a good day. So
do you go is it like a layup straight away as soon as you get on?
Just as close as I get to the rim, just make sure it goes in, and then that prepares me mentally. Be like, right, it's gonna be a good day, and then next thing you know it, I just go through my routine and that's it.
Tell you what, always we're there early, and Pasquale is pretty much nearly every time the first one out on the court shooting before all the players.
Oh, yeah, I do see that. I do see that there, to be fair, getting some shots in early. Do you have like a specific routine you always go through?
Yeah, well, I just make 10 from corners, 10 from the wing, and then just keep going around the 3-point line until coach calls us in.
Strong.
Nassim, how about you? Pre-game?
I do second that. I do agree that the first shot matters. It dictates how that's even in training though for me. But I don't know. I'll eat like 3 hours before like we start to warm up, just because I just need time to digest. But just music. I just listen to music. Like make sure that
some players do like the has to be left sock first, or has to be like.
I do normally put my left shoe on first, but sometimes if I just forget. Like, it's not religiously a thing.
Fair play. Sam, the next question.
Okay, so Finn_Satch on Instagram wants to know, when did you get your first ever basketball?
Can you remember?
I want to say I went to a BBL final in like 2000 and like maybe 13, and I'm pretty sure Leicester Riders were one of the teams, and I'm pretty sure I bought a Molten ball from the store there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Molten,
amazing.
2013. I thought they were still rocking a Baden back there. Probably not.
Oh, no, they're molten back then, mate. They're molten.
Molten years
Baden
ago.
was years ago.
It was like a red and like grey.
I know
Aloe
the
was
one.
grey. Do you know which one I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was that one. I remember that.
Yeah.
I probably bought my first one when I was like 7.
Wow.
Like 7 or 8. Back in Dorchester.
Back in Dorch, up the Dorch.
Up the Dorch.
Surprised they sell basketballs down there.
I remember
JJB
having-
Sports.
JJB Sports, yeah, it was. It actually was.
I know,
yeah.
I know
They
very
shut
well.
down
What's
now,
that?
so-
Though, like the Sports
It's literally the
Direct
only
of
sports. It's
Dorchester.
basically
Yeah,
the only sports shop there was in the town.
I thought in Dorchester you just get a bunch of elastic bands and wrap them up around.
Where'd you go down there? Did you go down King's Road?
Nah, Gorsty all the way.
Where's
Not
that?
Gorsty, Sandringham.
Sandringham. Oh,
You know
yeah, no,
Sandringham?
yeah.
Yeah,
I used to
not
live. I used to live right next to
Sandringham.
it, but they didn't have a chain net on it, and the one down
No.
at King's Road did. So I used to go down there.
Nah,
But-
Sandringham all the way.
It's terrible.
Oh, what a place! I can
Terrible.
reminisce about Dorchester.
If you've never been
memories.
to Dorchester, go to Dorchester.
Yeah,
it's a lovely place.
It is a lovely place.
It is a lovely place.
All I know is all my friends from Dorchester used to come to the Oval because it didn't have a cinema in Dorchester and it had one
Oh
in the
no,
Oval.
there
There's a
is.
cinema.
No, there
There's two,
is.
actually.
There's Dorchester
There's-
Plaza. There's a second. There's Odeon now.
Now,
There's a
Dorchester's
Cineworld in Weymouth, mate, not far away.
Mhm.
Way
What a way beefer.
Way beefer.
What a place.
What a place.
Incredible. Anyway, I need to stop talking about my hometown. Ryan Morgan on Instagram. This is a good one. Would you let your mum read through your entire messaging history for £1 million?
Yeah. Me and my mum
Yeah.
were cool.
You would.
Yeah.
You would.
I've got
Nothing to hide.
I've got nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide. Oh, that was quite a tame question.
yeah, my mum can't read, so that's fine.
Sam, let's do the next question.
UOB Spartans have been in touch on Instagram.
UOB.
UOB.
Would that be Sam or would that be someone else?
Nah, I'll be the media guy.
Who's
probably.
that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay. And they want to know, Pasquale,
There we go. Go on.
what is your hair routine?
My hair routine.
Yeah.
What's your routine, mate?
I don't have a hair routine. I just shampoo it, and that's it.
Just let it lie.
That is
Yeah.
a routine. You say don't have a routine.
Well,
just
when I
shampoo
shower,
it.
I just shampoo it. That's it.
Shampoo.
And I
let
get
it
I
lie.
get my hair cut at Man Cave, and I actually shouted them out in
Oh,
Shane
you did.
Walker's
In the vlog last year. I remember.
vlogs, yeah.
Man Cave.
Man
off
Cave.
of.
Gloucester Road, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's Park Street.
Yeah, I know the one.
They're really good.
Man
And actually, it's my barber knows you, Nassim.
Yeah. The barber knows my dad, and
Yeah.
I did go there for a little bit when I was younger,
good.
but
It's really
Yeah.
good.
Small world, eh?
Small old. You need to get some of that conditioner on as well, mate. That'll give it some real.
Should I?
Yeah.
Another question.
Listen.
Another question here from the UOB fam. This time is from Panda Beeble
shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
on Insta. Pasquale, who would win in a 1v1 between Coach Sam Davis and Coach Jude?
Gotta be careful here.
Sam's buckets.
Sam's buckets.
He is buckets.
He's got a
Jude-
nice
Jude is
mid-range,
cold as- I
but
can
Jude's
vouch for
really.
Jude. I can vouch for Jude.
Jude can shoot, right?
Jude can play.
I think it'll be a close one. They're both really good players.
They're different players, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you're saying it would end in a tie?
I don't know. You have to.
We have to
see
get
it.
you off the fence.
It's
here,
a weird
mate.
one. I don't know.
When Sam gets going, though, he does not miss.
Nah,
right?
Sam's a really good shooter.
Yeah.
He's got hops as well. Not as much as me though.
Yeah, obviously. Naturally. So, Tom Murley on Instagram. He's a mate of yours, is he?
He is. He lives with me.
Oh, he lives with
he's
you.
My housemate.
So he is a mate. He please ask Pasquale why he still solo pushes on Apex Legends.
Right. So if your teammates aren't catching up with you, it's not my problem. You need to get into fights quickly. Otherwise, it's just a boring game.
I love that.
And Les can back me up with that as well.
I'm
I
still-
learned from Les.
I'm still waiting on the subs bench, by the way, for the call up into this Apex Legends squad because I feel like I've re-downloaded the game, by the way. I've got it on my Xbox ready to go. Leslie Smith sent me a friend request, and I've heard nothing since. so
You're a little bit of a Leroy Jenkins, are you?
Yeah, well, I learned from Les, and Les just said like, you kill the squad, you loot up, and you go to the next squad. No time to hide or walk about.
That's how
or
the Scat
anything,
Gang
so.
does it, is it?
Mhm.
a Scat Team, by the way, they're called Scat Team, not Scat Gang. I had a message from Jelani after our last podcast saying we're not a gang, we're a team.
Well, why does it say
I don't know. That was a word from Corey. You can blame Corey for that one. But Jelani messaged me to clear it up that it is the Scat team and not the Scat gang. A couple more questions I've got to get through here before we wrap things up. Callum McCullough's been in touch on Instagram. He wants to know, Pasquale, what are the best Italian phrases or insults on the court? We may need to be careful here, but I think we can get away with saying them in Italian and then the fans can Google them to find out what they are.
Scarso. Say scarso.
Scarso.
Okay. Well, we won't.
It's not too bad. You can say it back in English. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let the fans.
Well, you can Google it. Fans can Google it.
Scarso.
Have you ever sworn in Italian on the court to prevent yourself from getting a technical foul or something like that, so the refs don't know what you're saying?
Nah, not really.
Coach K does that in Greek sometimes. He will swear in Greek. I remember when Panos used to play for Flyers, Panos Mayandombe, and he'd understand exactly what he's saying, and the coach would just be saying stuff in Greek on the sidelines all the time. And the rest wouldn't know what he's saying.
I don't believe you. Coach K's never shown any emotion on the side of the court, actually. So.
Okay, well, give it a Google if you want.
Yeah, say scarso.
Say scarso.
Say scarso. But you have to say it with passion.
You have to say it with your hand clamped.
Most insults in Italian, the reason why they're so bad is because you put passion into it. Okay. You properly say it.
Say
give it some.
But it's not an insult. It's more just you can Google it, but it's not that bad.
Last question we have from Amy Atkinson. Who has been your and this is for both of you individually, who has been your biggest inspiration in your journey as a player?
You can go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, think about that one.
Obviously, you can name a bunch of people to it, but I would probably go with Roy Owen, because just from he kind of opened my pathway to basketball, guided me through it. I was lucky enough to play with him on the second team the year before COVID, but it's someone that I still see as a family to me. Can always ask him for any advice if I need it, any kind of things, but he's always guided me the right way. And having him when he came and coached at Met, that was big for me and my basketball journey. That was probably the best thing for me. Yeah, so I'll probably go with Roy.
Amazing.
And that's amazing because now you go into schools yourself, don't you? And you do exactly the same thing that Roy was doing.
That's what I always say. It's all really full circle. Now I'm going into primary schools and trying to teach these kids about what basketball is, and probably have to deal with similar attitudes that I probably had at that age. Being cheeky, being smart mouth. But some of the kids I get to meet are really, really cool, and it does feel like a big full circle, starting in the same position that I'm now coaching in.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe we'll get the next Flyers point guard coming out of a school that Nassim's been into and been to assembly and spoke to them.
You've been into St Helens School in Alveston?
No, I think Corey goes there.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to mainly St Werburgh's.
Okay, nice.
And other Flyers hubs. But yeah,
nice,
awesome. Pasquale?
Probably my dad. So my dad was my first coach. Taught me how to play the game. He used to play as well. And he's just always taught me about it's more than just a game. It's if you're passionate about it, it'll bring out so many different aspects of life that you wouldn't realize that you'd think a sport would bring out. Just whether it's commitment or being disciplined or just little things like that. It's more than just a game. It's you can treat it as a lifestyle, and that's what he taught me about it.
His dad is crazy to play against. When I used to play against Pasquale, when we were younger, his dad would, when you're shooting free throws, he would wait till you're low, you're just about to go up, and then he'd shout super loud in Italian to either Pasquale or his brother.
My brother.
Sarascosa!
Yeah. And it used to make me really mad when I was younger, but I couldn't really do anything about it.
That's amazing. Awesome. Great stuff. That sounds like a great place to wrap up this week's episode of the Bristol Flyers podcast. Fellas, thank you so much for spending time out of your week, your busy schedule, to come and join us here for this week's episode. Sam, anything else you want to add before we wrap this one up?
No, really appreciate it, and get that first review in on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, first person to get the review in will get read out on the next episode of the podcast. Don't forget, you can listen to us on all major podcast providers. We're on YouTube, so do share the podcast with a friend if you're enjoying it. Every Wednesday afternoon, we'll be dropping a new episode of the podcast. So we'll see you, same time, right back here next week, here on the Bristol Flyers podcast.